What's up, everyone? My name is Michael Burrell, and I am a graphic design and digital art professor here in New York. So, I'm going to be doing a video series where I focus on the tools, techniques, and options that I think are the most important, the need to know items to get you by. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. All right, first thing we have is I opened up Illustrator CC 2019. Now, I am on a Mac and I'm using OS Mojave, and this is CC19, so you may have some differences, but most things should be the same. For example, if you are on a Mac versus a PC, or PC to Mac, the real difference is when I say Command for a shortcut, it's Control on a PC. Outside of that, almost everything else about these programs is the same. All right, to get started, most of our Adobe programs have this sort of welcome screen. You can go ahead and create new here, or we can go up to File and choose New from there. They both bring you to the same place. And that is this little preset window. Now, don't get confused. You don't have to use any of these templates. A lot of my students get overwhelmed by some of the options here. So what we have to do here is choose any of these templates. I'm going to choose a letter, and we go ahead and hit Create. So to get you introduced to the interface overall, I'll just go over some basic terminology. On the left-hand side is our toolbar. Any of these tools that you see, if you hover over, you'll get a tip that explains to you what the name of the tool is and a shortcut key that you can hit to get to it. I have my shortcuts showing at the bottom so you can see them pop up. So if I hit V, for example, it brings me back to this tool, whereas this tool I can get to by hitting A. All right, so you can see how it jumped back and forth. I have my menus up top and the name of the current file that I have. So I have this Untitled 1. And then up here, I have my workspace. Now, if yours looks a little different than mine, especially if you're using 2019, all you need to do is choose Essentials. And if it still doesn't look right, you can choose Reset Essentials, and that should bring you back to this look. All right, you can also customize your own workspaces, make new ones, etc. So what we have here is this white area. This is referred to as our artboard. This is where all the important artwork goes. Anything that is meant to be printed or exported, all the major stuff goes in here. This gray area out here is our scratch area. You can put whatever you'd like out here, but it does not print. It doesn't export to different file types. So be aware of that. It won't preview in your file thumbnails either. Okay? And on this right-hand side, we have our properties bar. This panel has a lot of the options we're going to be focusing on, and there's a series of panels that you can have here. Now, this is not the entirety of them. Anytime you don't see a panel here that you're looking for, it is under Window. So the entire list of panels can be found under Window. So anything you don't see here can be pulled up there. All right. So just to get started with some basic things, we have our document, which units are in points. So right now we can change this over to inches if we want to measure in inches, points, picas, millimeters, centimeters, and pixels. I'm going to leave points right now. We have artboard, so we can have more than one artboard in Illustrator, and I'll do a full video on artboards at a later date. Right now, just so you know, there can be more than one of these. And in this panel here, we have a few different options that are important for viewing. For example, we can show our rulers from here, our grid, and a transparency grid. We'll talk again about all of these in later videos. This is just so everyone understands where we're at. There are also some quick keys that are important for navigation. For example, Command and minus will zoom out. Command and plus, or the equal sign, will zoom you back in. Command 0 will make your artboard full screen or full available area. Command 1 we'll make it 100%. So this will be the actual size of a printout or the actual representation. Command minus again a couple times. Now, if I want to navigate around here, the easiest way to do that is not to go down to these scroll bars at the bottom, but instead to hold the space bar and move around top, bottom, side to side this way. It's a lot easier to work that way while you're in the middle of a tool. There's several tools that we can switch off of just by temporarily holding the space bar and getting back into it. So I recommend working that way. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is this toolbar. As of CC 2019, they introduced the ability to customize your toolbar. This is the basic toolbar, which I don't really like using as much. I prefer to go down to these three little dots, click here, choose the drop-down menu, and choose the advanced toolbar. And this gives a much fuller collection of the tools. And you can see that a lot of these tools have this little white triangle in the bottom right-hand corner. By clicking and holding that, you can get more tools underneath. So these are little drill down menus. So you know that there's more tools under any of the ones that have that bottom right white triangle facing out. All right. The most important things we need to know to start are that this is a vector program. Vector programs mean that this is essentially resolutionless, that this is scalable graphics. Everything we make for the most part in this program is based on math, which means we can enlarge it, we can shrink it down, and we won't lose quality. And lastly, we have save. So save or save as will allow you to save a series of different file types. Our native file type in Adobe Illustrator is a .ai. We can also use vector files in the .eps and .pdf or .svg formats. There are a couple other options that I can go into at a later date. Be aware of those things. Those are the real basic essentials to looking at this interface. Being able to zoom in, zoom out, navigate around, knowing that our panels come from window and that this is our toolbar. Once you know that, we can get started actually making some stuff, which we will continue in the next video. So if you guys have a handle on that, you understand what's where, great. Let's move on and start to make some stuff. See you in the next video.